All right, boys and gals. Shake up me fucking tea. All right. So we're finally going to start this because I've got the night sort of to myself. But I'm going to make this quick because I think the longer my videos are, I think the more depressing you guys get listening to me fucking waffle and babble on about nothing. So, as I stated, I have 5 albums so far that I'm going to do. And tonight we're doing Yes, Fragile, and number 2, Thin Lizzy, Jailbreak. These are both at the same time. These were requested by my bass player in Beyond Eternal, Corey Gattel. He's not on YouTube really as a VC member, but I'm gonna share this link with him later. And so without further ado, let's roll. Starting off on November 12th, 1971, Yes releases Fragile. Now, excuse me, prog rock legends, probably one of the best out there, next to Rush and a couple others. I'm going to state for the record that I only know a few tracks, okay? And listening to this really proved to be a rather difficult listen, and not because I disliked it, but simply because of the fact of how fucking it really weaves in and out. And it's a solid listen, okay? But when I'm expecting more vocals and I only get a chunk, the instrumental side of things is really good, yes, but I want more vocals. And John Anderson is a great singer, so that's what I want. That being said, let's go. John Anderson, lead vocals and acoustic guitars. We have Steve Howe, legendary, underrated as fuck guitar player, on the electric and the acoustic. He also does backing vocals. Obviously, as you're probably wondering, I'm looking down at my notes because I literally just did these notes about 2 minutes before setting this up. Chris Squire, legendary bass player, pick bass player. So for anybody who's playing bass with the pick is terrible, yeah, fuck you, because Chris Squire says so. Bass and backing vocals, Rick Wakeman, the very first time he is featured on a Yes record, and he plays the Hammond organ, the Mini Moog, the fucking, all these different synthesizers, the whole 9 yards. And last but not least, skin basher extraordinaire Bill Bruford. Now, the artwork was done by Roger Dean, the production was done by Eddie Offord, and it was recorded at Adivision Studios, and they entered the studio in August of 1971. This record cost 30 grand to produce. Like, holy shit. For a band to be able to go and put out a record for 30 grand this day and age, whew, that's a tight budget. So, kind of to get into this here, and I want to talk about Rick Wakeman's contribution on this mostly. This reached the Billboard charts in the US at number 4, the UK album charts at number 7. Roundabout was the biggest single. And that's pretty much the one track on here that I can get by with the most. The rest of the record is really, it is technical. There's time signatures. It's not as crazy. But the one thing that I do like is the fact that you have Chris, Steve, Bill, really just kind of making things a nice big old fat peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, it sticks together and it kicks ass. With Rick Wakeman coming over it with all of his abilities on the Hammond organ, the Mini Moog, and so on and so forth, that adds the atmosphere. Now, to kind of talk about this, he wasn't the original keyboardist, as I said. Tony Kaye is the original guy. But he wanted to, he's just like, man, I don't want to experiment outside of the Hammond organ. I really like the Hammond organ. So between John Anderson, Squire, and Kaye, it just got to the point where they were just like, no, we want more. And if you're not going to give us more, that's it, you're done. So Tony Kaye was fired from the band, and brought in Rick Wakeman. Rick sat down, probably played about 10 notes, blew the rest of the band away, as he always does, because he eventually got involved, I think, with Sabbath at one point, and he really made the band what it is, a really amazing killer band. Honestly, because I'm not a massive Yes fan, I respect the absolute fuck out of them for what they did. I'm going to give this a high 3.5 out of 5. The thing is with these bigger bands, I hold them in higher regard because I already know what they have the ability to do. Now, moving on, about 5 years in the future, in March 26, 1976, Thin Lizzy releases Jailbreak. Rock and roll, hard rock band out of Ireland. This was recorded at Rampart Studios and produced by John Alcock. The boys are back in town. Everybody knows that. There's not a soul that doesn't fucking know that. The title track, Jailbreak, and Cowboy Song would be their biggest tracks on here. Now, obviously, as everyone knows, legendary bass player, lead vocalist, Phil Lynott, absolute stellar musician. Scott Gorham on guitars, lead and rhythm, absolutely fabulous. Brian Robertson, lead and rhythm guitars, also featured in Motorhead. Why, I still don't fucking know. That was probably the worst. Another Perfect Day, I believe it was the record, and Lemmy fucking hated it. This was a big breakthrough record for them, and when you listen to it, it's really got that. It's it's blues, but there's enough rock and roll and harder edge. Like the guitar tone in this, it sounds almost as if you took a speaker cone, gashed it with a knife, and just played through it that way. Like that's what the distorted part sounds like, but it's actually a really good guitar tone. I really enjoy it. I will state for the record though, that those three songs that I said earlier, Jailbreak, The Boys Are Back in Town, and Cowboy Song, are probably my favorite tracks off the record. It's not to say that the rest isn't good. It's just when I listen to rock and roll, hard rock, I want it to be absolutely just, I want it to be smashing right out of the fucking gates. This hit number 10 on the UK charts. It hit number 18 on the US charts. And, so I'm going to give this a high 3 out of 5. I will also state for the record that because of those hits on both of these albums, Yes is Fragile and Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy, there's not a lot other that will pull me back in to listen to them. Even though on listens I enjoyed them because of what they are. Yes is very, very technical, and that's good. How they're able to write songs is great. But when it comes to myself, and I'm completely taking all of my current listenings out of everything, because I mean, as you guys know, I've been listening to some extreme metal, I've been listening to thrash. But when I do these reviews, I step outside of all that and I listen to it for what it is. Both records get 3.5 or high 3s out of 5, and really, it's not bad. It's just the rest of the songs outside of those singles, it's not enough to pull me back in. But based on the production of both albums, and based on the songwriting ability of both albums, I absolutely have to give them a 3 out of 5. So that's that for both of these reviews. And again, it's going to be short, or they're going to be shorter. So we're at about a little over 9.5 minutes here. Now, I am probably going to be doing, probably the next one that I'm going to do is going to be Dawkins Tooth and Nail, classic album. A lot of guys have requested this, and I will give it to them. Then after that, it's going to be Overkill's Horror Scope for one of our wonderful friends over in the UK, and is Dr. Ock. And then we have, after that, I am picking a record, and that is, this will be after that. So hopefully the rest of the week I can get some more times in, or more chances to listen and do some more reviews. So anyways, guys, thank you so very much for watching. Really appreciate that. If you guys have other classic albums that you would like me to review, please leave them in the comments below, or leave them on the Facebook, because I'm going to post this to Facebook, Instagram, and as well as Twitter. Thank you ever so much, guys. You're awesome. See ya.